Okay, hello. How are you today?
I'm okay, thank you.
What's your name?
Sarah.
How old are you?
I'm 36.
Tell me something about yourself.
Basically, I'm homeless. I've been homeless for about 2.5 years now, living on the streets because I was in quite a domestic relationship. I don't know what else to say.
Could you tell me a little bit more about your relationship and how?
Well, basically, I become homeless due to reasons. My mum and dad were alcoholics as I was growing up, and I was in quite a violent relationship. Like since I was 16 years old, he's quite controlling. So basically, the person I was with, I couldn't stay with him anymore, so I had to get away. So I went down the slippery. Well, before that, I actually had a job. I've actually got a little boy called Jack, and I was with his partner, and I actually had a normal life. I had 3 jobs working. And then I kind of become homeless and went down that slippery path.
What jobs do you?
I worked at Costa Coffee, Burley Bake Shop and Downing College. I had 3 jobs at one point. I was working really hard to provide for my son. Like he always had like loads of holidays. We always had holidays, clothes and everything. But yeah, and then I become homeless on the street.
Do you see him now?
Not at the minute. He lives with his dad. It's quite a hard subject to talk about. And about 3 years ago, I don't know if you read it, it was actually in the newspapers. I had 2 twin girls, Lacey and Darcy, on the streets. And the way I had them, because it was December the 23rd, and they were 6 weeks early because they were premature. And I had them up near Sainsbury's. And the next day I woke up in hospital. They're actually adopted now. They're in a better place, but yeah, it went viral. Like the nurses said to me that they needed to speak to me because they said something's happened. So basically, overnight they raised £38,000 in a crowdfunding page, and it was all in the newspapers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like the Sun, the Daily Mirror. When I was in hospital, the press and that wanted to talk to me, but at the time I didn't really want to give an interview. But it went bonkers. Like all TV programs wanted to talk to me to give me an interview. And they managed to raise £38,000 overnight.
How did they use the money?
Well, basically, when they're 18, they get the money for them. So when they're 18, they get half of the money, which is a good thing. But I should have had a lot more support, which I didn't. I shouldn't have been on the streets at the time, and I shouldn't have been on the streets given birth. That was scary. That was.
Yeah, dangerous.
Yeah, horrible.
So you were pregnant and living in the streets?
Yeah. And give birth outside. I give birth outside at Sainsbury's.
That's insane. And people helped you at that time?
Not really, no. That's why I'm disgusted. Like I've still had no mentally support after having the twins. It's a big thing to go through. And to me, I haven't had a lot of support. Having 2 twins on the streets? Like that's a big ordeal to go through.
That's traumatic.
It is, yeah. Like after that, yeah, like because I have to live with that every day, not having them. It's mentally torture, it is. Like, I didn't choose to give my children up because of the situation I was in. But that's what I'm telling you. I have to live with not having them every day. Does that make sense?
How do you feel now?
I've still not come to terms with it.
Are you getting some support?
Not really, no. It's bad, isn't it?
Very bad, very
Not
hard.
enough support as what there should be.
Do you ask for help?
Well, I've got a support worker. She's on holiday at the minute.
Yeah.
But you probably spoke to a lot of people. There is hardly no support out here. Who you spoke to, what support is there? Nothing. There is.
But not enough.
No, you have to work with people because if you don't work with them, you won't get that support. But I have been through a lot. Everyone on the streets have been through a lot. They all have their different stories. You know what I mean? It's not easy.
No, it's yeah, I hear so many different stories every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's horrible.
It was, but when that was in the newspaper, yeah, imagine how I felt, giving birth to my twins, having to leave, the worst thing I've ever did, having to leave that hospital, knowing that they were still there when I had to go away. But when I come out of hospital, I was in the newspaper and everything, it was horrible. I felt like everyone was staring at me, and imagine being in the newspaper, not only that, giving birth to twins, you don't know what's going through you, like, people judge. Obviously, people judge you as well, like, oh, she lost her babies, they're not with her. And people judge homeless people as well, automatically. They think you're on drugs and alcohol straight away.
Have you done drugs?
I have in the past, yeah.
Are you doing drugs now?
Not now, no.
How long have you been clean for?
About 5 months.
5 months?
Yeah, I'm getting there.
That's good.
It's alright. I'm not out of the woods yet, but I'm getting there. Actually on the script at the minute, a methadone script. I have to go to the chemist every day and get that stabilises me, so that stops me from using, which is really good. Because if I didn't have my methadone script, it would turn me into using again. People don't realise when you're an addict or whatever, it's an illness. It's not a choice. That's why I say to people, you should never judge people, ever. Because people have their different reasons for what. Never judge anyone. So it could happen to you, it could happen to anyone being homeless.
To anyone.
I don't like the dirtiness. The worst thing, I don't feel myself. I'm normally quite clean and change my hair, my clothes. So it's hard, like when you're out here, I don't like the dirtiness. To me, this isn't how I normally look.
I love your hair.
Oh?
Your hair is nice.
No, it's horrible. To me, it's not very nice at the minute. Need to cut. Got loads of split ends and that.
What is the worst thing about being homeless?
The worst thing? Oh, that's not knowing where you're going to go every night and like where you're going to sleep. And the worst thing is not feeling safe. Because you know when you're outside, you're not safe, are you? Because it's not like you're in a building where you're locked in your surroundings. It is scary at times. It is.
Do you had any traumatic events?
No, luckily. Thank God. No.
Do you have many friends out here?
I'd say I speak to people in the streets that are homeless, but in the real world, you probably wouldn't really speak to these people as much. I've got my boyfriend, who I'm with now, but I try and keep myself to myself.
Is he homeless as well?
Yeah, he's homeless. Yeah. So what I mean, I try and keep myself to myself. I wouldn't say they're friends. Well, obviously, when you're homeless, you become like a close kind of network, a bond. But I wouldn't say they're like close friends. Does that make sense?
Yeah, just because you're all living in the street.
Yeah, it's hard. It is, yeah. And your things get stolen. Never leave your stuff because people steal it.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah.
What 3 words would you use to describe being homeless?
Lonely. Lonely. It's very lonely and that's hard.
It's a hard one.
Lonely. It is. You're very lonely. You just feel ignored sometimes, like invisible, and the boredom when you've got nowhere to go. You know, when you've got nowhere to go, you're just sitting about. It's horrible when you just want to go in the bed and somewhere dry. Like you get moved on constantly, but where you're meant to go, there's nowhere to go. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. What would you like people on the channel to know about what is to be homeless?
Say that again?
What do you want people to know about what is really to be homeless?
It's the hardest thing I've ever done. I wouldn't ever. All I want people to know, like take every minute as you can, because people take life for granted. Yeah, you can literally. I'm telling you, you can have everything, and in the space of minutes, you can just lose it. Like I realise now, I didn't appreciate things before, because you know when you have things like your home, like I appreciate things now, little things like getting up in the morning, having a cup of tea, having your dinner, having a bath. But I just tell people, just never, don't ever take life for granted, because you don't know what's around the corner, and you could be homeless. I wouldn't ever wish it on anyone. I really wouldn't. Never.
Do you think there is a stigma around homeless people?
Yeah, of course I do, yeah. Don't you? Yeah, definitely. Like some people, yeah, I understand why. Because there's a lot of homeless people that ruin it for you. Leave dirt everywhere, rubbish, like drugs, like paraphernalia on the floor. And it doesn't look good. So you get targeted for everyone else. But over the few weeks, you've met quite a lot of different people, haven't you? So what do you think now? What did you think to homeless people before you didn't know? Did you ever used to judge them?
I mean, I'm not a person who judges much.
What made you do this then? What made you want to do this interview with people on homeless people then?
Because I think I had some complicated times in my life.
Okay.
I had difficult situations where I didn't get enough help. So I
Okay.
wanted to be that person who helped others.
Okay. That's good.
So I can relate to many of the situations.
Yeah.
People like you, or like all the people that I have met here in
I know,
Cambridge.
everyone's nice, isn't they? Everyone has their... it's strange, because you know when you're talking to different... Everyone's got their own little stories they tell, haven't they?
Yeah. And you never know, like, I think anyone can.
No, when I was reading my friend's Demi, I was watching her on... I don't like watching myself recorded. No, I don't, because you just look weird. I won't watch myself because I don't like it. But when I was watching my friend's Demi's video, the way when she was giving her interview, her whole emotions just changed into another person. Does that make sense? So when she's speaking about it, she changes really emotional, but she's actually being true. Like when she's talking, you can tell really, like it really touches her.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's hard to listen to all the stories. And
It is, yeah.
seeing all the suffering. What do you think you need to get out from this situation?
What do you think I need? One, I want to get my life back on track. Mainly, first of all, I want somewhere to live. So when I have somewhere to live and I'm stable, I can go back to work and get a job and have a normal life. That's what all I want is a home and somewhere to live. That's all I want. I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. I want to get back to work again, but I can't do that until I've got a job and a stable address. It's hard though. It's hard for housing. It is really hard. It's not that easy as people think. It's not. There needs to be more for homeless people. You've got Jimmy's Night Shelter. You've got the Twos. You had Willow. They knocked Willow down, which was a homeless accommodation. So basically, there isn't a lot for homeless people anymore. It's not good at all.
Yeah, it's very hard. Like,
Yeah.
I come here every day and I just see that people are getting worse and worse.
It is, yeah.
Like the situation is
But
not
sometimes, don't get me wrong, people don't want to help themselves.
Yeah.
You have to work with people sometimes because it's not just going to fall on your lap. You have to work with these people. Because if you don't work with these people, you won't get anywhere in life. You really won't.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's hard to see the situation that the government is not
No, they're useless.
giving the same to everyone. And very unfair.
I know.
People on the waiting list
It's
for
long.
months and months living
long.
in the street.
Winter's the worst, yeah. Sleeping out in the winter is horrible. I've stayed out in snow and all kinds.
And England is a very cold place.
I'd rather die, yeah, than being serious and sleep outside. I can deal with the summer because in the summer you can go in the field and get a tent
Yeah.
and it's warm, but in the winter time, no. And people don't have money. It's getting hard now. Everyone I ask, yeah, is using their phones now. They don't have cash anymore.
Yeah.
all-
There's no cash anymore. I
all
mean, you're not even
phones.
allowed to pay with cash.
No,
anyway.
and every night to get in bed, it's like £18 a night for bed. It's a joke. It's not been a good few weeks. It's been really hard for everyone. People don't want to help. It's just every time I ask, people using their phones and that.
Yeah. I've seen people devastated, like Jamie today.
I know. We're all struggling.
Yeah,
Not good.
they are. Hopefully the situation can change.
I know, so do I.
Thank you so much for
All right, thank you.
for sharing your story.
All right.